I'm just going to start out by saying I love how you support women's sports, women's everything. Like I have a shirt that says more female, Black, Latinx, and digital, like more voices. And you are one of those people that have supported since day one. But we're going to talk about you a little bit because I saw that you were on an NBA 2K all girls, like you were one of the counselors for that. So can you just talk about, being a dad, why it's important to empower women? Let's just start there.
Yes, I mean, most importantly, I've been a part of the Women in Gaming Development Camp for the NBA 2K League for 2 years now, and I think it's a lane that we didn't cover as I was helping build out the landscape for 2K and how it's came about. So I think it's important that we recognize all gamers, and I mean women in particular. I mean, I think something that's been important to me, and it was said by Ariel Powers, is like, gaming it shouldn't be segregated. I mean, you have, it's not like traditional sports where you have to be a certain metric or anything like that. I mean, if you can play the game, you can play the game, and I think it's something that I've grown uh, a part of, and want to be as impactful as I can. I mean, with that being said, I think with me being a general manager and coach for the 2K League, I still have a responsibility to make sure that every player is qualified and competing, at a high level to truly embrace the opportunity of being a part of the league. But something that I don't hardly talk about is, I have a daughter.
Yeah.
She games.
That's why I was
She
asking about it. You're a girl dad. Yeah.
Yeah, so she and not only that, I mean, she played college basketball,
Yeah.
D2 level, and got her college degree. I mean, and now, I mean, when she's not working, she's always on the game. So it's pretty dear to me. I mean, now that I'm a part of professional gaming and she games as well, just sports has always been a big thing in our household. So I was one of those dads that I didn't miss a game. I probably only missed out of the thousands and thousands of games that she played. I probably only missed like five,
That's
and
great.
it's
And
just
she knows that.
important.
I'm sure she recognizes that you made a point to be there.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, I was tough on her, but I told her, I said, a lot of people are gonna judge me for how tough I am on you, but they're gonna reap the benefits when you out there hooping.
Yeah.
So she listened to me, and it paid dividends for her. And I'm proud of her, and and now even more when I see her on the game, it really makes me it feel a certain kind of way. She plays more Fortnite than 2K, but still,
Okay.
just the
Oh
fact
gosh,
that we
that's
have
my
some.
son too. That Fortnite is just taking over. But it's interesting because you're a dad that's in the professional gaming space. Normally parents are like, stop playing them video games. But can you just talk about your viewpoint on it? Because like you've made a career out of it now.
Yeah, I think actually when I first came into the space, that was something that I was kind of attacked about a little bit because I come from the traditional sports background where I coached basketball for over 20 years. And so I already had an initial relationship with a lot of parents. And when they seen that, they was like, oh man, like now I can't even tell the kids to get off the game because, it can become a career. And I think we have to be more open minded. Like I tell all parents, I don't back down from education or anything like that. I mean, I still encourage that, but be open minded to a lot of different lanes that's out here for your child to succeed. Even beyond just gaming itself, influencers, YouTubers, streamers, different things of that nature. I mean, kids are making a living now. I
A
mean,
killer, not a living, a
yeah,
killing right now.
I was just about to say that. So it's like you want to be open minded, but you still want to have that core foundation set for how you want your child's future to be.
No, and you hit on something because yeah, we our generation, I think we look at video games as literally just a hobby, but you're a testament that it's a profession now. Can you talk about like you were in traditional sports for 20 years, former athlete turned coach. Can you just talk about like how did you even get into gaming? Like how did that start?
Funny thing, I'm obviously, I'm in my early 40s. I've been around since 2K before it had numbers behind it. So um, I was in the military. Funny thing, I was in the military from 1997 to 2001, United States Navy. 2K came out in '99. At this point, kind of just playing 1v1, excited the fact that the NBA had a game that was being modeled through video games. So till 2014 where they really started picking up the pace, where you can create your own player, give it certain attributes and different things of that nature. And then not only that, you can go out and compete with other four players just like it. So in 2K15, they had the Jordan Rec Center. And basically, you could go in there and compete as an individual, just like open runs, or you can go in there with five and you can meet up against another five and go at it.
Okay.
So I started to hear little things about leagues going on and being formulated. So I got into a few, stumbled across my dear best friend that to this day, Tawan Fairley. We started playing together, and then one day out the blue, he said, "Curt, I think I can do a league better than all the leagues." And I'm like, "Okay." I said,
Right.
"What you like? What do you want to call it?" He said the MPBA. I said, what that stand for? He said My Player Basketball Association. I'm like, man, if that's what you want to do, I'm with it. Fast forward to a couple years later, we had one of the hottest leagues in the world, and
So y'all
2000.
was running your own league, like a whole league.
Yes, we pretty much emulated the NBA. We had conferences, statistical categories, awards, and everything. Um,
Crazy.
2017, Take Two Interactive and the NBA announced that they were coming together for a 50-50 partnership to create the NBA 2K League. And we were excited, but we didn't really know like how we would fit in or anything. But one thing we knew is that our presence was kind of felt. I mean, I had been reached
So
out
the
to by
NBA
some,
2K League actually reached out to you guys. Wow.
yes. So it was kind of like just like a mutual, like just meet and greet type thing, and we didn't know how we were going to be a part of it. Actually, the first team that reached out to us was Bucks GG, which is the Milwaukee Bucks affiliate, and we kind of came on and served as draft analysts for them. Had a limited role during the season, but it kind of got our foot in the door. Where people recognized our hard work and everything that we had put into it before the league was actually came into existence. So the following year, that's when things took off for me. I was reached out to from the Brooklyn BSE Global, Joshua Prush, who at the time oversaw Nets GC. He reached out. I'll never forget because at this point I was a manager for a group home. It was 6:30 in the morning. Email shot across my iPad. Opened it up and read it. Basically, was saying that he was told that he should need to reach out to me. We got on a phone call later at 9 a.m. He said it was one of the best conversations that he had had with any candidate.
Okay, OG.
Now, mind you, at this time, I didn't even know I was getting interviewed. Like I was just thinking, I didn't know what to think. I was excited, but I didn't know what to think. And fast forward a couple of weeks later, I was brought on as a special advisor to help them build out the team. And then 2 weeks later, I was announced the GM and head coach.
That's crazy.
And then
So,
my
so that people
partner,
understand, the NBA has a whole league, like so affiliates. It's like the same way if you would think the NBA G League has affiliates to the NBA team. The gaming crew has that's what GC has affiliates to the NBA team. So this is like a licensed pretty much league running through the NBA that's just gaming. Just so everyone understands, because everybody's not hip to what's going on. So you basically got a GM head coaching job for like a legitimized league run by the NBA, and this is the Brooklyn Nets team reaching out to you. Like I'm just making sure I got this all right.
that is correct. And as except we go under the name Nets Gaming Crew.
Nets
But
gaming
yes,
crew. Okay, Nets gaming crew, Nets GC. So then you get the job, right? Again, did you ever think that when y'all were building out the MPA or MBPBA, did y'all ever think that you were going to be able to do this like on this scale? Like was it just did you see it as a hobby basically before you became a GM, or did you always see that this has money potential in it?
no, we didn't. It's crazy. Every day I wake up now, and every night I go to sleep. I mean, it's a surreal feeling. I have a job to do, but it's one of the best careers like you could possibly have. No, we didn't think anything about it. We was just doing it simply off the love of the game. I mean, that truly defines what we were doing. It was just out of the love. Now, mind you, I caught a lot of grief when I was doing this because I'm in my mid 30s at the time, and I'm still working, handling my business, as a father, man, husband, and everything like that. But in my free time, I was always on the game,
Yeah.
like or always operating and running things. Sometimes I wasn't on the game actually playing. I was just making sure tournaments and leagues was running smooth and things like that. But no, it's this is something that I don't know. Like I could have never thought, and it doesn't allow me to just to have the experience so many things that I never would have experienced. I like meeting somebody like you and building relationships and Mama Snook and everything like that.
They
So
just left this morning.
yeah, so I mean, it's allowed a lot of great opportunities for me, and not only for me, but my kids and everybody who's surrounded by me. So I'm truly grateful.
So I have a question. Is like, because this is a league, y'all have wins, losses. Like, how do you, is it like traditional sports in a sense of when you're coaching? Like, what's the normal pregame talk like for when it's the game? Like, what is that like?
I think for me, I think every GM and coach probably has their own different philosophy and how they feel and think about it. But for me, I've always been a player's coach, even in traditional sports. For me, I have the luxury of having Josh Humphreys, aka Chalk, who's one of the top PGs in the league. He's pretty much the on-court coach. Like he leads and runs the show. Then one of my center, Connor Rodriguez, shots. He's one of the best centers in the league. So that with them two together, surrounded by Dante, FaZe, and Slay and Jake. It makes for a perfect formula. I think you need if you got a solid leader or two for on game purposes, it works out. As far as me, my responsibilities, I just manage the personalities,
Yep.
anything that may arrive, but I'm pretty much laid back. I think I'm cool for an old head. So
You are.
I keep the vibes good. I mean, I make sure they got
But
what
you're
they
not an
need.
old head, first of all.
What's up? Hey, you know how it is in today's
Just because
society.
they're young doesn't make us old. I'm just going to say that.
Oh yeah, because ain't nothing cracking over here. So we pretty. I'm pretty good in that department. But
Yeah. So
no, it's just I give a little pregame speeches here and there, keep them motivated. I do want to say this: Alton Bird now, who has assumed responsibilities for NSGC, and his staff have done a phenomenal job in making sure that we have everything we need, from luxury to required items and everything like that. So it's been a great time for NSGC right now.
no, I'm glad you brought that up because I was mind blown when I heard that these players are living all right. They get put up in a nice place. They get a salary. Can you just talk about like the life of a gamer? Because again, I think this is a world that people just really don't know about. They look at gaming, they're like, oh, stop wasting your time. I know that it's a small group that makes it, but this is like real professional luxuries.
Yes. This is the backtrack just a little bit. Far as the qualifications of becoming draft eligible, most of the players have played a numerous amount of amateur status pro am basketball, which is pro am is a mode in NBA 2K that emulates the league, far as the 5v5 setting. So upon that, it's certain qualifications that have changed over the years. Now it's pretty much each league or each team in a league holds individual tournaments that you and your friends can sign up for a 5 player team tournament, and if you win, you get a bid. Pending background checks and different things like that, but you get a bid to be in the draft pool, and then at that point, combines and different things are held by the league, and GMs and
That's
coaches like myself.
crazy. It's
We
like traditional sports for real.
Yes,
It's like tryouts, then combines.
yeah, and then at that point, if you're lucky to enough to get drafted, you receive a base pay salary. You move into the market area that drafts you for 6 months.
And they
Uh,
pay
re-
for that, right?
yeah, rent free. The only thing you pretty much are responsible for is food, and that's here and there. I mean, we have team dinners and different things like that. But as far as on a daily, just your own individual products, food, and different things of that nature, and you pretty much living the life of a pro gamer slash NBA player.
That's crazy. Okay, so first of all, are their salaries like known? Like what's the number one draft pick? Like what's that like price point like?
Right now, it's increased over the years. I think if and I should know this, but it's somewhere in this ballpark of on the low end base pay like 33K, and
Okay.
then on the higher end base pay is like 39, 40K,
And
and
then talk
then
about endorsements because I know that that's big for well the gaming culture in general is big booming. Are those players getting endorsements kind of like athletes would traditional athletes would too?
yes, you have some players who have their own individual sponsorships. I know Chalk on our team has received some other players from some other teams, as far as apparel, different merch and stuff like that. So I mean, it's out there. I think it's of course we're young in our league and its development, but I think the more that's around and the more exposure we get, things like that are going to pick up. You have young players, and then I think, far as representation, far as agents and different and managers and different
Wait,
things
they
like
got
that.
agents and managers too?
Well, I'm saying they have the possibility of having that. Some of them just need to learn the process and the industry and things of that. I mean, because of course, like yourself and myself, we both have managers and things like that to help expand your brand and grow in your career. And I think once some of the players really have a understanding about that, I think in what role they play in it, I think they can really thrive off of it because esports. I mean, that's the main way how it survives is off sponsorships and partnerships and gaining revenue through that.
Yeah, so you talked about brands, sponsorships. You've done an unbelievable job, I believe, of branding yourself. You have your own podcast, which is amazing. Can you just tell me about your podcast? What do you talk about on a normal basis? OG 2 cents.
I think thanks Renee. I think for me it was important to I like stories, and it was one way where I can connect with people on a one-on-one basis, but also in the process of them sharing their story and how they got to where they are in their respective industry, it could be spread it out to the world. And I think that's something that never gets old. I mean, I think it's a lot of people out here who have interesting stories, and it needs to be heard. And I think my that's truly what my platform provides is that it's about storytelling. It's about getting to know that particular individual. And hopefully, when you are done listening to the episode, that you can carry some nuggets with you to help you, continue on in your journey and whatever it is that you're trying to do.
No, I love it. And you exude positivity. You have motivational Mondays. What made you start doing that? Like, what made you just want to put? Because I even had to tweet you the other day, and I'm like, I love what you guys are spewing out in the world. It's just like
Yeah.
positivity. Shouts to Who is Brooklyn. He's alongside of you with that. But what made you want to just start having that positive impact every Monday for the motivational Mondays? And I know that's a thing that people do every now and then, but I mean, you really come with it. You have your OG 2 cents that you drop. Like, why all these nuggets, like these gems?
I think for me is that uh, I've lost a lot. Like I mean, in my journey, not having my mom anymore, not having my dad anymore. So I started to approach life a lot different. I mean, it's it was some dark times and really where sometimes I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't, and so when I got blessed with the opportunity that I did, I wanted to share it with everybody in a light where it can help encourage them to do the same thing. Not like, hey, look at me and look at what I'm doing, but like, no, like look at what I'm doing, but also focus on yourself, and hopefully I can help you gain some strength and some positivity that you may need or may be lacking to do what you want to do. And shout out to Brooklyn Mo. He's been a supporter of mine for a while, and I've been an admirer of what he does. And I think I wanted to bring it different. Like I know a lot of people hashtag Motivational Monday. But for me, it was like a lot of people look at Mondays as like a terrible day because
Yeah.
they may be getting up, clocking in, going to a job, or doing something that they really don't want to do. And I kind of wanted to like spread a different light on it. Like, hey, get up and make a change if that's not it. And through talking to Brooklyn Mo, I gave him a few little words that I wanted him to put in a rap, and I mean, and it wasn't much, and he
Listen,
took
I
it.
did the same. He's so talented. Shouts to Brooklyn Mo. Can't wait to see. He's so talented. So yeah, sorry, whatever. But I gotta give him his roses because there's like when I see talented people grinding, I always want to put shed light on it because that's what people need.
No, without a doubt. And then the other person I want to pay respects to in for that video was Fire Sticks Gaming. They do a lot of creativity project in the 2K community and beyond. And I just gave him a little bit of information. And within that Motivational Monday video, I didn't even know he sent me over the video once he got the track from Mo and put it all together. And I looked at it and I was like, "Hey man, can you like add some New York stuff in there or whatever?" And he was like, "Hey bro," he was like, "That's your hometown." I said, "Oh snap!" Like I was like, "I didn't even know that." He was like, "Yeah, man, I went and got footage of your hometown." He was like, "If you go back and look at the video, that's,"
That's
and literally
crazy.
the footage that he captured, I live like literally across the
And
bridge.
you ain't even recognize.
And I didn't even recognize it. So I was like, nah, we'll just keep it the way it is. And I always want to pay tribute to Dayton, Ohio. Like, I mean, I know I'm working and constantly in Brooklyn, New York, but Dayton, Ohio raised me and made me. So I'll never forget about where I come from.
No, I love that. And you talked about you were in some dark times. It when you were in those dark times, were you still that motivational Monday guy, or did you look at other people giving you motivation and that kind of got you out of it? What were you like in those darker times?
No, I think you hit it on the head with that. It was like more or less me looking. I was gaining things from people at the time, or they didn't even know they was giving it to me. I mean, because when I lost my dad back in 2001, and then I lost my mom in 2018. Now, the particular part about losing my mom in 2018, she passed right before I signed with Brooklyn.
Mm,
And like a lot of people didn't know that. I didn't share anything about it. I didn't talk about it. I just kept moving. Like I mean, and I'll never forget like the first season, right before the first game. Like I'm in an apartment. I'm crying
yeah,
like unbelievable because I knew like how happy she would be. Like because she would have been there. Like I
yeah,
mean, so just thinking about that, but like at the time, it was like just like a lot of my mentors, my brother, father figures, like constantly just talking to me, staying in touch. And I'm a big affirmations man. Like I mean, I love like when people speak life into me and speak positivity to me and they actually mean it and
yeah.
they show it. And Renee, you've done the same. I mean, and the relationship that me and you have built and it even extended further with your mom like that's what keeps me going. Like I mean, even though we may not talk all the time or and everything like that, but I
Yeah,
know when
you
we
know we
do,
still here. Like I'm
yeah.
here if you need me. I know the same. Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, that's and my brother. I mean, I have a twin brother, Isaac, who's we haven't always seen eye to eye, but I think as life and as we've gotten older and experienced some things together, like we are like super tight. And he's been right there for me all the time. He ain't never really was a big video game head, couldn't stand video games, and really don't even like them that much now. But I mean, he supports whatever I do, and I love him for that.
You know, that's beautiful. Family's always going to be there. And I agree. Like I love that when you were in a tough situation, you needed those words of affirmation to pull you out. And so now that you're in a better situation, you just give that to everyone in case they need it, in case it falls on somebody. Like that's beautiful. And you talked about being in the military, you were in the Navy. There's a lot of different things going on involving the anthem, the flag. What are your thoughts with that, especially in sports? I'm a team owner and there's different decisions being made. And do you play the anthem? Do you not? I'm curious from somebody that served, is it this like what's disrespectful, what's not, just from your point of view, like is not playing it, like if we play lift every voice, how is that viewed?
I think for me personally, obviously, when everything in the heat of everything that was going on about Kaepernick and everything, it was like listen to the message. Like listen and understand why somebody is doing what they're doing. And I think that can ultimately tell you if it's a level of disrespect or anything like that. I mean, I proudly served in the United States Navy. And I think I don't remember the man's name who actually gave Kaepernick the advice, but I mean, it's a lot of
He was a
proud.
beret, just so people know, it was a beret that told him, hey, don't sit, rather than sitting, how about you take a knee, that's the more respectful thing to do.
Right. And I mean, me personally, I didn't view it as any sign of disrespect. I think what I feel first and foremost is that I think everybody is wanting some things that have been looked at, well, most importantly, probably overlooked, is that we want some change, like to some things that are not right or that haven't been right, and those things should be able to be modified. I mean, it's never a wrong time to do something that's right. So, and I think that's all the people are looking for, especially people of color. And I think if really people can just look past color or anything and just understand what's humane for everyone, I think that we'd be off to a better start in the world.
No, I agree. And it actually, that made me think of something because the gaming community, you're such a positive guy. I don't think it's like that maybe in 2K, but with Fortnite, I'll be having to shut down Junior's game sometimes because that community is so toxic. But some of the stuff that's spewed in that gaming world is stuff that I know kids have heard on the news, on the internet. To that point, is that something that you guys regulate heavily and watch to make sure that that type of culture doesn't grow basically in your 2K league?
Yeah, I think and I think it happens in mostly all the communities. It's just at some at a different level, or
Yeah.
depending on where it's coming from. But I think for me, I try to get people to realize, like, at the end of the day, it's gaming, but it's a business too. And I think a lot of times with this generation is everybody feels like you keeping it real, like you that means you have to expose everything, you have to say everything, you have to do everything, which is, to me, I always used to say I keep it as real as possible,
I
because
like that.
at the end of the day, I mean, when you understand what your role and responsibility is for something, you have to carry that out, and if you don't want to, then don't put yourself in a situation where you have to. And I say that to say, for like my players, I don't take their voice. I don't stop them from posting things on social media or saying things, but I want them to be responsible
Yeah,
and know that the impact that they may not only have for themselves but our organization, but for the young fans that's watching them and idolizing them and want to be them one day. I think you just have to keep everything in mind, and that it's a time and a place for everything.
I agree. No, and it's the same for me. You want to kind of guide the players, but you don't want to tell them how to post. You don't want to stop them. If somebody wants to be a model, well, then you got to let them be a model. And if somebody wants to be this, you got to let them, and not even let them, empower them. So, no, I agree about allowing people to have their voice. One last question. What's next for OG King Kurt? I mean, I see you making moves. You got sponsorships coming through. What glasses are those?
Oh, the Zennies.
Oh, come on now.
Have you?
I already know they are. You got the
Yeah.
Zenning glasses sponsorship, and I just see your brand is just building. You're doing more things. So, what's something that now you're in this space what's something you want to do next? Like, what do you have your eye on? And not meaning leave Brooklyn Nets game. I'm talking about do
Right.
complementary to all the things that you're doing.
I think one thing that's really big with us in SGC now, with our restructure, is that we're big on education, military and veterans,
Mhm.
and things of that nature. So we I just want to cover as many grounds of our pillars as we can, and I
What's
think
your pillars?
community, education, and veterans. That's something we stand real big on, and I just want to continue to be a positive light and voice for not only the people in Brooklyn, New York, but just throughout the country. Personally, I got some things in the work. I can't.
Uh-oh.
I
Wait a
can't. I
minute.
can't.
You can't
I,
say it
I
yet.
can't. I can't say it yet, but I'll guarantee you before I go public, I'll let you know. I'll shoot it in the chat.
Hint at it. What you got going on?
Yeah. Basically, it'll be official OG King Curt apparel and different type of
Yes.
merchandise to go along with it. So shout out to the company that I can't name right now, but but I'm definitely, the one thing, and I'll tell you about this partnership that's important to me is that when we had the talk, met with the CEO and everything like that, he liked that my principles and his principles aligned. Um, and that was more important because yeah, it's all cool when you talk about a product and dollars and cents and stuff like that. But when somebody is on the same page as you, as you walk your life each and every day, and nothing trumps that.
Love it. So congratulations. We'll be checking it out. You know, I'm gonna get me a hoodie or two. Gotta support the fam. Listen, OG King Curt, thank you for the motivation you give to everyone every week. Thank you for supporting women and everything and being a supporter. And then just thank you for coming on remotely, Renee, and chopping it up, telling stories with me, man. You know, we family, so it's always nice to have the fam on the pod.
Hey, thanks for having me, Renee. I'm so proud of you. You inspire me too as well. So keep doing what you're doing, and shout out to Mama Snook. I love you, and thank you for all the support that you have given me and keep giving me.
Oh, I love it.